Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is my first full face tutorial, so I thought I'd do some bright festival makeup. So first I took my Anastasia Beverly Hills dip brow in dark brown and using my Real Techniques liner brush to fill in my eyebrows. I always line underneath my brow first, starting a little way in from my inner brow and not right at the start. I then begin to fill upwards until I get to the top of the arch, and then I can line round, dragging it down to the tail. With less product on the brush, I then begin to fill the front of my eyebrows in, pushing the product up and not applying too much pressure on my brush. It doesn't matter too much if the lines are a little messy, as I'm going to carve my brows out, which will sharpen them up. I then just like to brush my brow hairs out to make sure all of the product is even. I then take my LA Girl Pro Conceal in Porcelain with a Royal and Langnickel flat definer brush and begin to carve out my brows underneath to get a defined brow look. As I line underneath, I begin to drag the product down so there are no harsh lines, and it will make it easier to blend out. I also do the same above the brows so they are super defined. Once I'm happy with my eyebrow shape, I take my Illamasqua brow build in Thrive to set my brows and to also define my brow hairs. This is my absolute favourite product to set my brows with. Using the LA Girl Pro Conceal, I then load this onto my eyelid ready as a base for my eyeshadow. Taking a mini beauty blender from Ricky's NYC, I blend the concealer over my eyelid and also buff any harsh lines from carving my brows. To set the base, I take this RCMA no colour powder and a B06 Spectrum brush and brush this all over my lids, making sure I cover all of the concealer so that the eyeshadow will blend up perfectly and won't be patchy. Next, I take Kat Von D's Pastel Goth palette using the shade Clementine as a transition shade and using my B06 Spectrum brush again to blend it in. Starting in the crease, I then work and blend the shade up a little, building the shade up and really making sure it's blended out perfectly. You can be a little messy at this stage as you're going to build the rest of the shadows over your transition shade. Next, taking Jeffree Star's Androgyny palette, using the shade Charm, I blend this into my crease using a unicorn crease brush, really building the shade up. I also use the shade Frosting from this palette for the inner corner and my brow bone. I then use Clementine just to blend it over the top lightly. Using my Morphe 35U palette, I take the darker orange shade to darken and add depth to my crease. I first used another unicorn crease brush, but then switched to my Morphe B72, which is more of a pencil brush, really enhancing the orange shade. As you can see, there's quite a bit of fallout, and this is why I like to do my eyes first, so I can brush any excess away without it affecting my base makeup. Once I've blended the orange from the Morphe palette, I then just go over the top with Charm again to blend the shades together. Taking my LA Girl Pro Conceal again and a Colourpop flat brush, I then begin to cut the crease. I like to follow my eye around with the concealer and then bring it up a little just so that you can see it when my eyes are open. Just patting the concealer down to make sure that it's even so it doesn't make it harder when you go to work your first shade onto the concealer. Then taking the shade Star from the Pastel Goth palette, I gently pack this on using a unicorn packing brush just to set the concealer and give it a base for the next shadow. Taking another pencil brush from Morphe, which is the M431, and using a bright yellow from the 35U palette, I really pack that yellow shade on so it stands out, trying not to go over onto the orange. Now for winged liner, using Kat Von D's Tattoo Liner in Trooper, my absolute favourite eyeliner that is hands down the best liquid liner I have ever tried. Just to make that wing extra sharp, I take my concealer and flat definer brush from earlier. This also gets rid of any shadow underneath the wing, making the whole eye look a lot sharper. I then take my unicorn concealer buffing brush and just buff out any concealer left underneath the wing. I did use the dark purple shade from the 35U palette under my eyes, however I was out of shot the whole time. Using my Illamasqua mascara in Raven, I give my lashes a quick coat of mascara, not worrying too much about how they look as I'm going to add false lashes once I've done my base makeup. Now for my base. Firstly, I take my Kat Von D Hydrating Primer. This is an amazing primer for keeping your skin hydrated under your foundation. I like to apply this all over my face, but mainly working it into my T-zone. For foundation, I use Illamasqua's Skinbase in 08, but as I have somehow caught some colour in this non-existent English summer, I use Illamasqua's Skinbase Mixer in Chesnut and just a small drop adjusts the shades to my skin. I mix this in the back of my hand and then apply it to my face using a Real Techniques cheek brush. This is such a beautiful foundation for a glowy look. I then just like to make sure it's all blended out using a damp Real Techniques sponge. Next, to highlight, I take the Tarte Shape and Tape Concealer in Fair Neutral. With this concealer, a little goes a long way, so you do not need a lot at all. I apologise for being completely out of focus, however you can still see where I am placing the concealer. I like to use this under my eyes, on my forehead, on the bridge of my nose and on my cupid's bow, and I blend it all out using my Real Techniques sponge. I do then just like to go over with my unicorn buffing brush just to make sure it's all blended in. To set the concealer, I take the RCMA No Colour Powder from earlier and use my Real Techniques sponge to dab over where I have highlighted. I then take the unicorn powder brush and dust the powder lightly all over my face. I then take the Nip and Fab Contour palette using my A04 Spectrum brush, firstly using the shade Ginger to contour my cheekbones, blending upwards and in circular motions and then onto the perimeter of my face. I then go over with the shade Caramel as it is a warmer shade and gives more of a bronzed look. Using the cooler shade Ginger and a Spectrum B06 brush, I lightly contour my nose. I then take the shade Banana and my Real Techniques highlight brush to highlight above my cheekbones, which also blends the contour perfectly, so there are no harsh lines. I also like to use this under my eyes and on my forehead. Then taking my Illamasqua blusher in Chaste, I lightly apply this to the apples of my cheeks and then start working up. I then like to take my Anastasia illuminator in Riviera and just to go over the blush lightly, giving it that little bit of sparkle. For highlighter, I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Nicole Guerriero Glow Kit. I lightly dust this on using a unicorn fan brush, also applying to the tip and bridge of my nose, a little bit on my forehead and on top of my cupid's bow. For my lips, I used Kat Von D's Studded Kiss lipstick in Halo, which is an amazing bright orange colour. For lashes, I took a pair from my Land of Lushes Pro Eyelash Kit. I always like to leave my lashes until last so I don't get any powder or ruin them when I'm doing my base makeup. To set all my makeup, I use Kat Von D's setting spray and spray it all over. I like to give it a minute and spray over again to ensure my makeup isn't going anywhere. And now for my favourite part, glitter. I got this chunky glitter from eBay and I'll list it below in the comments. They have an amazing selection of colours and styles and they don't cost a fortune. To apply the glitter, I use the NYX Glitter Primer and a Colourpop brush and I spread it in the areas that I want it. I then added some gems which are from the range and I applied these with some eyelash glue. And here is my finished Festival Brights look. Thank you so much for watching and please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed. I will have lots more videos coming soon and if there's anything that you would like to see, please leave it below in the comments. Thank you again for watching. Bye!